What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another Battlefield 6 gun guide. This is the series where I dive deep into the stats of the gun, and toward the end, I share some excellent attachment combinations that I highly recommend trying out. And in today's episode, we're going to be moving on to the KORD 6P67. And starting it off as always, let's have a look at our raw power potential with this gun. And with it, we have quite a fast rate of fire at 900 rounds per minute. This is the fastest in the assault rifle category. However, up close, it's a 5-shot kill to the body, and it's the only assault rifle that's a 5-shot kill right up close and personal. Meaning it doesn't really excel in the time to kill department, at least up close. We kill in 267 milliseconds, which is worse than average for assault rifles. However, I do think it's worth mentioning, with it having such a fast fire rate, this also means it's quite forgiving. So if you are missing the odd shot here or there, it's going to punish you a lot less than if you're missing the odd shot here or there with something that has a much slower fire rate, but a faster time to kill potential. Additionally, when we get out to mid-range, now our time to kill potential is better than average with a 6-shot kill at 330 milliseconds, and at really long ranges beyond 75 meters, we're killing quite noticeably faster than most of the other assault rifles at 400 milliseconds. So at least raw power-wise, this gun tends to excel in that mid-range, but realistically, even up close, even though the potential time to kill isn't great, based on my experience with it, it holds its own just fine overall. And again, I think that primarily just comes down to the really forgiving fire rate, because realistically speaking, in a lot of gunfights, you're going to miss the odd bullet here or there, and this gun is just far less punishing when doing that compared to many of the others. Now, taking a closer look at our range and time to kill comparison here with the other assault rifles, as we can see, this one is generally going to take an extra bullet or two to kill for a given range. But with that really fast fire rate, it tends to make up for this, especially once you get to mid-range. You can see this is killing faster than most of the other assault rifles at least. Then let's have a look at our muzzle velocity, which is not bad at 760 meters per second. It's not the best in the assault rifle category, but this generally shouldn't be a major issue for you in most of the gunfights you find yourself in. As for hipfire, while it is worth mentioning our base hipfire spread is just normal for assault rifles, it's the same as all of the others. A key thing to note with the KORD is we are limited in hipfire attachments. So there's no short barrel to improve our hipfire, and we only have one slot for both our flashlights and lasers, and therefore you can't combine a flashlight with a laser on this gun, unlike with, I believe, every single other assault rifle in the game. That's not to say that it's completely horrible at hipfire. I mean, the really fast fire rate does allow it to be quite forgiving in hipfire. It's just you can't get that hipfire spread quite as tight or accurate as many of the others. Now after that, let's talk recoil. And this gun kicks upward with a bit of a lean to the left. And you can see there is some inconsistency there as well. Sometimes it cuts pretty hard to the left, whereas other times it's not as bad. And that can sometimes throw you off. Sometimes you get a little bit more of that left-leaning recoil than you expect. But as far as the grouping goes while firing, you do get a nice tight group. As long as you can manage that left-leaning recoil, this is generally quite accurate and easy to control. I mean, I'm not saying it's the most accurate assault rifle in the game, but it's really not that bad, and I feel quite comfortable stretching my ranges out with this fairly far. Then let's have a quick look at handling, and it's pretty standard for an assault rifle here. I mean, there's really not much in the way of outliers in this category, and it's the exact same story with our mobility. It's just identical to all of the other assault rifles in the game. And now let's talk REDSEC a little bit. And after doing more investigation, I figured out that there are some very weird behaviors with damage and armor. Like, it turns out armor plates have a different damage range drop-off point for most guns compared to player health, and only in some damage ranges does the armor actually reduce the amount of damage you're dealing. And it's just led to a lot of unnecessary complexity that, I'll be honest, I'm not really interested in diving into with this series, especially because REDSEC doesn't seem to be all that popular. So from here on out, I'm just going to be doing a very simplified version of this, so you'll at least be able to understand like the minimum and maximum when 2 armor plates are equipped. And in the case of the KORD, up close, it's going to be a 10-shot kill against an enemy with 2 armor plates for a 600 millisecond time to kill, which is just a little bit slower than average for the assault rifles, but not by much. And then the maximum number of shots it'll take to kill against 2 armor plates is 13, and that's at quite a long range. And that will give you a time to kill potential of 800 milliseconds, which is noticeably better than average for the assault rifle category here. Obviously, like I said, these are just like the minimum and maximum values. You will also experience everything in between, so it will drop off to an 11 and 12 shot kill in between these ranges. But that's what we're looking at for the KORD in Battle Royale. And with all of that out of the way, we can finally move into a couple really nice attachment combinations that I personally enjoy using. And the first one I wanted to share is my go-to build with this gun. This is my balanced stealth build. With this, for our optic, we're using the OSA-7. I've got the standard suppressor on here, the heavy barrel, the canted stubby for our underbarrel, the 40-round magazine because we do burn through those 30-round mags very quickly with this high fire rate, so it's nice to have that additional 10 rounds. And then finally, just the standard ammo type here. And with this, the heavy barrel and canted stubby help quite nicely with our recoil. It just tends to straighten things up. We don't see as much of that left lean to the recoil pattern. And while there's definitely still some recoil present there, this is just more consistent and easier to control overall. And as the title of this build suggests, it just makes for a nice balanced build. It's very versatile. It holds its own just fine right up close and personal, but you can really stretch your ranges out and be quite effective with this one as well. And that's why I love it, and this is my go-to. However, in saying that, I did want to see the accuracy potential with this. So my second build is my accuracy build, where I'm leaning even more toward accuracy. So with this, we're using the converter rather than the suppressor. So we're not going to be staying off the radar, and we will be self-spotting when we fire our gun, which I don't love, but we do get quite accurate with this one as well, which we'll look at pretty soon here. But we've also got the heavy barrel on this, the classic vertical for our underbarrel, the 36 round mag. We're also using hollow points on this just because I had some spare points laying around. And this can help if you're landing multiple headshots mixed in with body shots at least. And then finally, we're topping it off with the ROM 1.75 optic, just so we have a bit more zoom than the OSA. This is my preferred option if I want to just have that little bit of extra zoom, and with an accuracy build, that makes sense. And taking a look at the recoil here, we can see it practically eliminates the horizontal recoil. And especially with the initial shots fired, this gun is so accurate and easy to control. You just have to pull down a little bit and you'll just be pinpoint accurate. And that's not even mentioning the fact that spread doesn't hit very hard with this as well. There's very little spread, even toward the top end of that recoil plot. And this build is actually quite impressive if you're really trying to stretch your ranges out. And there we have it. That's gonna wrap it up for today's gun guide on the KORD. And overall, when it comes to my thoughts on this gun, I really enjoy it. I think it's a solid all-around gun that holds its own just fine up close, really excels at mid-range, and can also still be effective at longer ranges as well. I would say the hardest part about using this is simply managing your magazine capacity, as well as that random left-leaning recoil that can sometimes hit a little bit harder than other times. It is something to be aware of with this, but as long as you get those two things under control, which you can do with attachments, I really do like the KORD. I find it to be a nice, fun, versatile gun. Now, of course, these are just my opinions on this, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about the KORD in those comments down below. Do you guys generally like this gun, or maybe not so much? And if not, I'd love to know why you're not a big fan of it. Now, if you guys missed any of the previous episodes of Gun Guides, I will leave a link to the playlist of that in the description of this video, keeping in mind we're almost done the assault rifle category. We're getting there. Once Black Ops 7 settles in a little bit more and I slow down a bit on the second channel, I will be refocusing a lot of my efforts toward this channel. So we'll be blasting through these a little bit faster. But if you guys enjoyed this video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.